Give it up for Tim. Give it up. That was awesome. I don't think I have anything to add. I say we call it early tonight. How you all doing? A lot of drunks here. I feel comfortable. I'm 21 years sober. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. I did it all myself. I did it myself. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, and I've done a lot of stuff. I think I've done a lot of stuff. But what I'm most known for is I'm the most unrecognizable famous person you've ever met in your life. And that is because I was the Geico Caveman for all the Geico commercials. And I just want to say one thing about that. Thank you, Geico. Thank you, Geico. God damn, thank you, Geico. Oh, thank you, Geico. People always ask, Geico. They're not a sponsor, right? No, okay. 15 minutes though, and it's so easy. So people ask about the Geico Caveman and what it was like. The first question I always get is, how long did the makeup take? How many people know this commercial? Okay. For those of you who don't, how would you describe it? He's like a metrosexual caveman, and we were selling auto insurance. I still don't fully understand the campaign. It takes like 3 hours to put the makeup on. You lay down, and these 3 super nerdy guys work on you for like 3.5 hours while they talk about Dungeons and Dragons and how they're a 3rd level druid and these kinds of things. And then you put on your costume, you perform for a while, and then it takes an hour and a half to take it off. And every single time I thought about complaining, I was like, what the hell are you doing? This is the greatest job ever. Thank you, Geico. I will say, I did all of the commercials. I did probably 25 national spots, and I did the very first one where I'm holding a boom operator pole, and I slam it down and say, "Not cool." That took a lot of acting. I was in therapy with Talia Shire, Rocky's Adrian, and I said, "It's my mom. Let me put her on speaker." I said, "Me and Tina are here. We're getting back together." Those kinds of lines, amazing. They'll last for thousands of years. But I did a spot with, and that's Hollywood talk. Spot. I'm sorry if you didn't understand. The advertising people oh yeah, we got to shoot the spot. We got to shoot the spot. The commercial, yeah. So this one was with Billie Jean King, and maybe you've seen it. I was playing tennis with her, and I tell her to look up at the scoreboard, and that I'm killing her. I think I'm beating her. And as I said, the caveman's kind of metrosexual, so they had really tight shorts on me, really tight. And whenever you're showing any skin as the Geico Caveman, sorry, it's my people. Whenever you're showing any skin with the Geico Caveman, they glue on fur, and they get this fur from China, and it's like, I'm sure it gave me cancer. I'm sure I'm dying of cancer because of it. But it comes in sheets. It looks so real, you can't believe it, and they glue it on you. And I'm laying there on this chair while they're all working on me, and the person who's doing the hair is a woman, which is very weird, very odd that one of these special effects people would be a woman. And I'm laying there, and I'm naked. I have a towel on. That was standard operating procedure as the caveman, because they didn't know how far to go down and stuff. I'm laying there, and all of a sudden, I feel this woman's hand grab my penis and scrotum, hold it to the side, wrap the fur around it, glue it way up there. For the gentleman here, where we get the bat wings, right up in there. And I'm laying there, I'm like, did she just do that? And I'm sort of processing, like, how do I handle this? And then she goes to the other side, does the same thing, just flops it over onto the other side. And it was a flop because I've been wearing boxer shorts my whole life, and gravity's really done a number on me. Right now, I have a testicle in each shoe. That's how I... Anyway, she moves that aside too, and I'm like, Jesus, I should file a report. I mean, it's like, me too, hashtag me too. And then I thought about it, and I was like, no, this is how a professional operates, ladies and gentlemen. You don't form a committee. We don't have a little talk about it. You just move the ball sack, you glue it up, and we go shoot the damn commercial. That's the way Hollywood works when it works. So as I said, I'm 21 years sober. I thought I would give you just a hint of what it was like back when I was using, just so you can see how, because I look a lot different now. This was at the kind of at the early stages of when things started to get dark for me. And I was juggling. I had made money at the Renaissance Festival juggling. And my juggling partner had asked me to juggle at the VP Fair in St. Louis, where I knew you could make a lot of money doing that. And I was enjoying this drug called cocaine at the time. It requires a lot of money. Or as much as you can get. And then you find some more. And I was like, yeah, hell yes, I'll do it. So we go and we juggle and we make like $2,000 each, or $1,000 each. I'm like, yes, I know where this is going, right up here. And here, a little there, I like that. So anyway, Rex, my juggling partner, has to do stand-up at the local club in Hannibal, Missouri, which is outside St. Louis. That's where Mark Twain, hey, that's where Huck Finn and the whitewashing fence. So I've got $1,000 in my pocket. I've got the rental car. I'm going to go out and I'm going to paint Hannibal red, man. I'm going to turn it on in Hannibal. So I go to the Quick Trip. You guys have Quick Trips out here? Okay, good. I go to the Quick Trip. I get myself a 6-pack of Tall Boys just to get things going. And I walk out of the Quick Trip, and there's this woman, young woman, standing, this is back with payphone. She was standing near the payphone, and yeah! My people. And she's very unattractive. I mean, you would not put this woman in if she was overweight and she just wasn't attractive. It's just the way, by Hollywood terms. Missing a tooth, and she looks at me, and I look at her. She looks at me, and I look at her, and she says, "You want something?" And I thought about it for a minute, and I looked at her, and I said, "Fuck yeah, I want something. Let's get in the rental car." So we did, and there was oral sex involved. It was fantastic. And then she says, "Hey, you want to go to my sister's house?" And I think about it for a minute, and then I go, "Fuck yeah, I want to go to your sister's house." And we go to the liquor store and buy 2 big jugs of red wine. And we're hammered by now. There was other drinking involved. I won't bore you with it. And then we drive on the highway, and then we get off, and we get on the frontage road. And then we get off on the frontage road, and we get on the regular road. Then we get on a gravel road. Then we get on, with the ruts, with the grass in the middle. And then we're not even on any kind of road at all. And I see it off in the distance. There's this, it's a mobile home. Exactly how you picture it. With like tires and a car up on blocks, and, all the windows are covered with aluminum foil. And, listen, I'm from Kansas, and I know places like this, but this was out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, this could go bad, but no, let's do it. And so we take the wine, we go in, and we walk in, and the inside of the mobile home is just trashed. It's fast food wrappers. I mean, it's just disgusting. And over in a chair is this super heavy-set woman with long hair, and she's smoking. And then in the other chair is this woman who never spoke a word the entire night, but was sitting over in this other chair, and as heavy, and big, big girls. And we walk in, and the girl I'm with says, "Hi," and the girl over here goes, "Ooh-wee, Tina, looky what you found." And we all look at each other for a minute. We start drinking some wine, and then we get it on. There's clothes go flying. There's flesh everywhere. Sister on sister, licking, sucking, fucking, everybody. Just all over the place. I'm being tossed around like a towel in the dryer, you know? Wine all over it. It's crazy. And then all of a sudden, they all freeze, you know? And I'm like, what? What's going on? And they're like, and then I hear it off in the distance. I'm like, what? And they're like, it's our boyfriends. They're gonna kill you. I swear they said that. I'm like, what? And I'm blind drunk at this point, trying to get my pants on and my keys. And I go out to the door and I open it up, and out there in hillbilly land, I see these 4 headlights on Harley Davidson motorcycles, but just the headlights. Like the 4 horsemen from hell. They're coming right at me. I run to the rental car. I get the keys out. I drop the keys. I think, oh my God, just like in a horror movie, I really dropped the keys. I get the keys in. I get the car started. I'm driving around. I'm 4-wheel driving. I finally find the no road, and then the gravel road. And then I find the regular road. And then I find the frontage road. And then I found the highway. So I'm an alcoholic, you guys. This kind of stuff continued until 21 years and change, 21 years ago and change, I was celebrating my friend Melissa's birthday. And it was her 30th birthday, and I think you all probably celebrated your 30th birthday this way. Drop acid and go hiking. Anybody? Okay. It's pretty common back in the back, yeah. So here, by the way, when I say drop acid and go hiking, what that means is you drop acid, you walk 8 feet in and sit down and look at ants for 8 hours. They're just like us. They're just like us. So we get in the car, and I always volunteered to drive. Killing somebody is not my story, thank God. And we needed more alcohol. Now, I should tell you, I didn't look like this. I had really long hair, really long stringy hair, which I rocked, ladies. The Ichabod Crane Adam's apple with the long hair is an awesome look, awesome. I was wearing a Mexican poncho. Do you know what I'm talking about, with the hood? You know, they're back now. I've been seeing the kids wearing them. I'm gonna dig mine out. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a Coke grinder in that pocket, though. I don't know if I want to see that. And I'm wearing a Billy Jack hat, a big black Billy Jack. Anybody Billy Jack? Kids, go out and rent it. Do yourself a favor. And my friend Rick is sitting next to me. It's his car I'm driving. He's dressed similarly, and the birthday girl is in the back. She's like this gorgeous Puerto Rican girl who made it very clear she was never going to sleep with Rick or I. And we're all filthy because we've been tripping and looking at ants all day and sticks stuck in us and God knows. And we're driving Rick's Saab, which had the color and texture of pantyhose. It'd never been waxed or washed. It had numbers in soap written on the windshield, denoting that it had recently been booted. I mean, we're essentially a rolling billboard that says, arrest us, drug addicts in here. We pull into the IGA parking lot, I don't know, brake light or something, boo, pulls us over. The cop, I swear to this day, I still picture him as a 14-year-old neo-Nazi. Whatever it was, he was, now granted, I was on acid, but And by the way, this is really powerful acid. For those of you who've ever taken LSD, and I know you're out there, it usually comes on a little bit of piece of paper. That's called blotter acid. You put it in there, and the lysergic acid gets it. But then there's sugar cube acid, all right? Sugar cube acid means some weird hippie freak made it in his kitchen. And you know, some guy's at his kitchen table with sugar cubes lined up, and he's got an eyedropper, and he's going boop, boop, boop. And then somebody says, "Hey, Doug, you want dinner? Huh?" And that's the one you get, hopefully. So I'm out of my mind as this cop comes up, and he looks at my pupils, and my pupils are like, they're so big they go over my head, you know, and form a black hole sucking in all time and energy. And I don't know if you know this, but there is a problem in Ventura County. I was in Ventura County, California. There's a problem in Ventura with a drug called meth. Anybody hear of meth? Okay, a few people. All right. It's a bit of an upper, you know, it's a good drug, but just do it once. Then it's a real problem. A real problem. And so he thinks I'm on meth. So he gives me the meth test. You know how when you're drunk you have to do this stuff? So for meth, this is what they make you do. And maybe some people out there have had to take this test. The test is you close your eyes, you lean your head back, and when you think 30 seconds are up, you tell the officer. This is what somebody on meth does. Okay, now. Because, you know, their internal clock is moving. I see the tweakers out there going, yep, yep. But I'm on LSD. And people on LSD can bend time and space. So I created a Dali clock in my mind. And when it hits 6, I go, now. These are not the drug addicts you're looking for. Move along. And I could tell I nailed it because he like looked at his watch and was like, oh shit, okay. I better go to the cop handbook. What do I do now? You know. And I'm confident at this point. I'm feeling great because I know that my friends Rick and Melissa are in the car doing what? Eating the drugs. The good job. The job I wish I had had at that moment. That's the best job. Oh, we had to do it. We had to eat them all. We were worried about you. We were worried you were we had to do it. So I'm like, go ahead. He comes up and he goes, can I search you? And I'm like, go ahead, officer. As his face is transforming, you know, into a praying mantis, into my mother, you know. Go ahead, officer. He reaches into I'm wearing an army coat too, of course, you know. It was a good look. He reaches into my pocket immediately and pulls out a half pint of bourbon, half finished. And I'm like, oh yeah. Alcohol. Because I am an alcohol. I mean, alcohol, come on. I would go when I'd go out into the world, I'd have my wallet, my keys, my chapstick, and my alcohol, and my cigarettes. God, I miss the cigarettes. Oh, I still dream about 21 years later, I looked so good. And my wife did too. She was a chain smoker. God, she looked hot. Anyway, we do the best we can. We're holding it together. So he puts the bourbon on the hood of the patrol car, and I'm in all this trouble now because I know I'm in trouble. But here's what I'm thinking. Man, that cop hood, you know how they keep them all washed and waxed? I'm thinking that bottle could slip off and break. That would be a waste of a lot of bourbon there. That's what's going through my mind. He calls the cops, and they all come, and my friends did not eat the drugs, which I still have a resentment about. And so I was charged with, you know, possession of narcotics. There were narcotics involved. Isn't there always? Possession of narcotics with intent to sell. Now, I had no intention of selling any of them. That was bullshit. Those were going right in this body. Anyway, we spent the night in jail. Spending the night in jail on acid, I don't recommend. But, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only person in this room who spent the night in jail. It wasn't, and I don't know why, but after that night, I never had another drink. I've been sober since that night. Now, I don't know why some of us get sober the first time, some of us get sober the third time, the 17th time. One of my sponsees, 147 times, it feels like. I don't know. And people ask me, like, John, my wife or cousin or husband has a drinking problem. Can you make him stop? I'm like, and you guys know this. No, I can't make him stop. Once he stops, I know some stuff to say that was said to me, but I can't make him stop. But in that moment, I thought I had decided to stop. I thought I had made the decision, you know? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm stopping. Done. Now, when I was out there drinking, and you know, the last part of your run, you're usually alone. I was drinking alone a lot. I would get really fucked up and depressed, and I would look up, and I'm an atheist at this point, right? But I'm looking up at the stars talking to, you know, God knows. And I'm like, just make me stop. All I want is to stop. I will never ask for anything else again. Anybody say anything like this before? I just want to stop. I'll never ask for another thing ever. Flash forward. A nanosecond after I stopped, I said, okay, that's great. Now I want to be happy. Thanks for doing that. But anyway, I want to be happy. And I had a definition of happiness, that an addict's definition of happiness, which is absence of pain, total bliss for the rest of my life. Anything below that, I'm unhappy. I basically have to be having an orgasm from that moment on until I die. Anybody who's done opiates, you know what I want that until I die. I'm not asking for much. I just want to be happy. Now, it didn't happen. In fact, things got worse. I would get in conversations with people, dear friends, the last two. I get in conversations with them where I'd really need to establish boundaries around our friendship. I need to let you know my feelings so you will know how to treat me in the future. And if I'm right about something and we're having coffee and I'm right, and I mean really right, like if we Googled it, we'd see I was right. I will kill you. I will destroy, I'll rip out your heart and drink it. I'm right. I'll call you like 3 weeks later. Remember when I was right? Yeah, say it again that I was right? Okay, thank you. I've always said, I think I've done more damage. I did a lot of damage when I was using, but I think I've done more damage being overly caffeinated and right than you know what I mean? So I get invited to this bachelor party in Vegas with a bunch of rich television comedy writers. And let me tell you, I was telling somebody this earlier, there is nobody less funny than a comedy writer. They are hi, I've got a joke I'm working on. I mean, it's just like, Jesus, dude. They're just depressing and they're wealthy. Two things I just can't handle. And we're in Vegas and I'm at the 3-cent table and they're at the $4 million trillion table, you know, and I'm just miserable. And then we go to the strip club. Now, when I was using, the strip club was a magical, wondrous place. A place where all things are possible. You know, like when you get the Willy Wonka movie where they all come in and they're eating stuff and, oh my gosh, what could happen? Anything. Anybody go to a strip club sober? Anybody? Okay, the guy in the back? So you know what I mean. It's horrible. It sucks. You walk in, you immediately see the backstory to all the dancers. Turns out they don't love you. If you had a CSI blacklight, You would see white everywhere. You know, I'm nursing like an $18 soda and lime. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm paying a shitload of money to get a boner with my straight friends and not do anything about it. Like, what? What are we doing? Let's just all take our iPhones and go to the bathroom and then go do something else. And by the way, if you are ever on the phone and you're with me and they say they want to talk to me, don't hand me your phone. I'm not, because people, God, the phone, what we do with our phones. You all know what you're doing with your phones. Ugh. Mine's up my ass right now. On vibrate. And somebody's calling. So I'm miserable. I go to my friend and I say, I'm miserable. I thought it was supposed to get better when you stop drinking. He goes, who told you that? And I'm like, what, it gets worse? He's like, yeah. And I said, well, what's the point? Why are we doing it then? He's like, the alcohol is just the medicine. It's just treating the real problem. And I'm like, what's the real problem? He goes, you're an asshole. You're a selfish, self-obsessed asshole. And I'm like, yeah, but I feel sorry for myself. And he goes, that's self-obsession. And he's like, the only way to treat self-obsession is to be other-obsessed. Okay, here's the thing. When I'm not at my best, I would look out at you guys and I would say, it's so cute that you guys all have your lives and you're gonna drive home and do whatever, but the camera's on me. I mean, look at me, Jesus, look at this. Who could be more self-obsessed than this guy? And I'm having a bad second act, but everything's gonna work out in the end. And I'm like, well, how do you become other-obsessed? And I knew the answer to this. It's like, get Jesus, or become third level clear, or become a pagan, or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you gotta find a power other than you to give you the power to actually give a shit about somebody else. Really give a shit about somebody else. Not like, I really care about them and I think they might be able to help my career. Or, I really like him and the girls he attracts because I want to be near them. No, to really care, really care. So something cracked in me and I became open to the idea. I've been an atheist. I became open to the idea of being open to the idea of some spiritual thing out there. And once I did that, it cracked. Once I did that, I met this smoking hot Jewish girl who is now my wife. And still holding it together. Find me after, I'll show you pictures. She's still good after 2 kids. You know, it's not exactly the same, but neither am I. I mean, I'm stuffing my testicles in my boots. So I know I want to marry her. And even though the first sex was not, it wasn't that, we failed. We failed on the first time. But after that, it got really good. And I wanted to marry her. Now, her parents were Jewish. I mean, they weren't hardcore Jews, like they're not having sex through a sheet, you know. Did you know that? Orthodox Jews have sex through a sheet, which, by the way, don't knock it. Well, some of us could try that tonight, right? What the hell? Who cares? They also wear wigs, which I think's hot. But it wasn't that I wanted to be a Jew. I just wanted to know enough about it so that when we got, I didn't want to be this guy. Shabbat shalom, everybody. How's it going? What are the 2 candles for? I brought some shrimp and pork. Let's turn on the lights. You gotta know a Jew to know that one. So I take the Intro to Judaism class to learn to be a Jew. And in the class, it's me and a bunch of super hot shiksas, Christian girls, with huge diamond rings, and if they want to keep them, they better graduate from Jew Academy. And so I get all the way through it. I kick ass. I pass. And they're like, you're not a Jew yet. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I really want to be a Jew. I was into meditation. I was kind of Jew-boo. You know what Jew-boo is? Jewish Buddhist. I was Jew-boo. I'm like, I don't know if I want to. And they're like, oh, yeah, you should do it, John. Why not? Do it. And I'm like, okay, what's the thing? You need to get re-circumcised. Yeah. And I know what you're all thinking. Wait, isn't he circumcised now? Yeah, I am. And I'll show you later if you don't believe me. But it wasn't done by a mohel. So what he does is, so this is what happened. I'm in the valley in L.A., I'm in this stranger's house. He's a mohel. I've got my pants down around my ankles. I've got my, and it's like that. No, it's more like that. Okay. And he says the Shekianu and a couple of, the Jews have blessing. They have a blessing for taking a poo. The Jews do. They really do. I couldn't believe it. He takes a pin, shoves it into the shaft of my penis. That's right. No blood. He has to get a drop of blood. He does it again. People ask me, did it hurt? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, it hurt. It's in the shaft of my penis. Would it hurt if it was in your eyeball? I mean, fuck. Then he did the weirdest thing. He took a piece of gauze, tied it around the thing, and tied it in a bow. And he goes, go get dressed. And then I had to pay him like $50 or something. So I go home to my wife, who opens it like a present. She's like, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. And there's healing ingredients in saliva. But that's why dogs lick their wounds, So here I am, before you tonight, a middle-aged guy who looks like a young Republican or a young Democrat. Or I guess I look more like a grave digger or whatever, a mortician. Thank you. I'm a Jew, and I'm sober. And it's so good to be with you guys tonight. I love being with the alcoholics. Now listen up. If you haven't done something crazy, you feel like, okay, I'm getting sober too young, I haven't done all that kind of shit, it's not too late. Because you can do sober stuff that's just as crazy. And I'm going to give you an example. Everybody look at somebody in this room that you don't know. Has to be a stranger. It's hard to do. Okay, that's the person you're having sex with later. Yeah. Let's get it on tonight, everybody.